Hey everybody, we have been in Roatan, Honduras for the past week. We have been staying at the Coco View Dive Resort, basically just doing diving all day, every day. After we spent about a week in Guatemala, we came over here and the diving has been amazing. First thing in the morning, we wake up, have breakfast, and then go do a dive at 8 or 8:30. We'll do 2 dives, come back, have lunch, and then we'll go dive again. It's basically just diving all day, every day. This is the place that we've been staying at for the past week. It is one of the beach houses, a little bit away from the Coco View Resort. So we have our own kitchen. We decided to opt for cooking our own food because of dietary restrictions, and it was a lot more budget friendly to shop for groceries and just cook it all here. Got a nice setup here.
Leftovers from lunch.
Yeah, it's a little messy. And over here, this is our deck, which is amazing. So we spend a lot of our evenings out here, hanging out, watching the ocean, chilling in the hammock. It's a beautiful area. And of course we have this hummingbird feeder that's full of bees, but also hummingbirds. And this is what our room looks like. It's definitely messy, so don't judge. We have this beautiful king-size bed. We've got AC, which is 100% necessary here. It gets very hot this time of year. We have our own private bathroom. Cree and Tyler have their own private bathroom, and then there's one in the main area too. So it's actually a really nice place. So my alarm just went off, which means it is time for our afternoon dive. So because we are a little bit of a distance from the resort itself, we actually have these bikes that we take to and from the resort. It's really close. I mean, you could walk, but the bikes are a lot quicker. This is where everybody gets ready to go on the dive boats. It's very organized. There's like Coco 1, Coco 2, all these different compartments where you keep your gear, and then the boat's just on the other side. It's over here. This is where you clean your gear. So this is our boat behind us right now. I actually think it's the best boat here. It's got 2 stories, so when we do the longer trips, we can go to the top.
Alright guys, so we've done a number of scuba diving videos on our channel and we still don't quite know the best way to do this because you can't like vlog when you're underwater. So we're going to try it this way where we just talk to you guys about the highlights and overlay some footage to kind of get you guys a feel of the experience we had in Honduras.
Definitely some of the best things we did were the wreck dives and the crack dives. Before we did this, we didn't know that there were even going to be wrecks, let alone being able to go inside them, which was like a really cool experience.
So this is our first time ever doing a wreck dive, and I don't know, I kept having flashes to like Titanic. It felt like you're exploring an underwater area. It was cool. One of the wrecks actually had an air pocket in it, which was super interesting. So you could like go up there and there's like a hole underwater and you're like deep underwater. It's crazy. One of them had like a chicken.
A fake chicken, a rubber chicken.
So that was definitely a highlight. It definitely requires some extra technique because you have to kind of maneuver streamlines. So it's definitely better for more like advanced divers, which at this point we've done quite a few dives. So
yeah, we're like around 60.
And so there's this very famous dive in Roatan called Mary's Place. And there's just a bunch of cracks you can dive in. And you even go up like a chimney, guys, which I was the first one to go up, and so it's so weird because you're just like trying to be streamlined as you go up this like chimney. It was super cool.
Yeah, you start by just going through like this opening inside of the crack, and then you have like these giant walls on both sides of you filled with different kinds of marine life, and it looks so cool. It's a very unique experience. It's like one step away from cave diving, which we haven't done yet. Both of the crack dives that we did were just amazing.
Another highlight, guys, was we saw squid and octopus for the first time ever. So we are like 60 dives in now. And before Roatan, we had never seen squid or octopus underwater. And so that was super cool. I will just always remember this moment when I first saw a squid. And at first I thought it was just like one squid. And then I looked around and like suddenly there is 14 squid all like in a line staring at me. And so that was just like one of those surreal experiences where I'm like, is this really happening? Like, it's crazy. And they're smaller than I thought too. They're like yay size.
Yeah, maybe even smaller.
Yeah, some of them even smaller.
Two other awesome marine life experiences where we saw a free swimming eel, which every other time we've seen them, they've been just like inside of a rock or coral and they just kind of poke their head out and bring it back. But this time they're actually free swimming along in the ocean, and it was really cool seeing that. And they were big too. And the other one was the bearded toadfish, which is a really weird looking animal. And the guide was like dangling something in front of the little opening because he was kind of like underneath a cave. It's a weird looking fish, but it was really cool to see.
And we also, which I was surprised by, we saw a ton of different seahorses while we were there. Various colors and stuff. So that was cool being able to see so many seahorses too.
Yeah, we also did get attacked quite a bit by the damselfish. They are very protective of their little area, and so we first discovered it just by like trying to film it, but then we saw that they'd come like swim directly at us.
With
and
like a scowl on their face, like they're angry.
Yeah, they're really upset at us, and so we had to watch out for those. I mean, they're really small, and they would like nip at your finger or whatever, but I don't know, it was just funny. We actually saw the first octopus at night when we did our night dive, and they're the way they move is just really cool. Like, they can really compress themselves down and like go inside of extremely small spaces, and they also like will often change color as they're moving along the bottom of the ocean. And they're just like, they like change the shape they're in. Like sometimes it looks like they're like inflating like a balloon, and other times they kind of like flatten out or compress. It's just they're such a unique creature. There's really not anything else like it.
Yeah, so that was super cool. Speaking of night dives, we did 3 different night dives each. Yeah. One of them we each did separately with just Tyler. We did this trip with my cousins, Korea and Tyler, and Tyler is like super into diving. He couldn't get enough diving, so we did trade off a couple nights where I think you just went with Tyler, right? And then I just went with Tyler.
We were also sick, so we didn't dive as much as we really wanted to.
Yeah. But anyways, a highlight from the night diving for me on my last night dive there was bioluminescence. And I've had on my bucket list, guys, for so long to swim with bioluminescent plankton, and it was so cool being able to do it. We literally, I don't think it's going to pick up on the camera, guys, unfortunately, but we literally just started a dive, Tyler and I, with just no lights on whatsoever. So we're swimming in the pitch dark, but with like bioluminescence every time we moved in the water. So that was definitely like the biggest highlight for me, I feel like, with the night diving. We did run into some challenges with the night diving.
Yeah, for some reason, the jellyfish really didn't like Liz and Tyler, and every time we did the night dives, they both got stings all over them from the jellyfish. I didn't have a problem, Cree didn't have a problem, but they had like these big welts on their legs and arms from the jellyfish stings.
Yeah, it was surprisingly quite painful, a lot more painful than the jellyfish we had at the Great Barrier Reef.
Yeah, in Australia. The other thing that really creeped me out on the night dives were these worms. So the big lights that Tyler has on his camera rig attract these sea worms. Oh, they're so disgusting. They really creeped me out. You just see them like wriggling and they're like approaching you, and it's like, I don't know if I have like a phobia of worms or something like that, but it creeped me out seeing all of them floating in the water around us.
Yeah, and that reminds me, on the last night dive I did with Tyler, it attracted all these jellies, the lights.
Oh, did it?
And so it kept stinging our hands the whole time. And on that last dive with Tyler too, we saw a octopus hunting a lobster, which was crazy. So a lot happened that last dive. That was really cool. And yeah, unfortunately we did take turns getting sick. I was sick towards the beginning of the trip. He was sick towards the end of the trip. So we didn't do as many dives as we probably would have, like if we were both fully well. So I think we ended up doing like about 20 dives each. So yeah, for a week of unlimited diving though, that's still a lot of dives.
Yeah.
But definitely we met people who had way higher count than that because they weren't sick. It was a super great experience at Cocoa View Resort. This is not sponsored or anything by them. We just had a great experience, and you can tell that it's a good place because people come back year after year. Like we met so many people who've been there many times. I think there was one guy we met who'd been there, what was it,
300 times, something like that.
Yeah, so it's very convenient. It's very good diving.
You can dive right from the shore. We were both very impressed by the diving in Honduras.
Yeah, I feel like other than Indonesia, it was the best diving we've done. It will definitely be the most expensive week of our trip, but that's usually how scuba diving is. But it's so worth it. It's just know that you're gonna end up spending a lot of money on it every year if you get into it.
Diving just opens up a whole nother world of exploration, and it is a really cool thing to try at least once in your life.
All right, well, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for our next video where we head to our next country as we continue our Latin American explorations. We're in Colombia, in Bogota. All this stuff is salt.